Good afternoon, everybody. So, I have been, and I didn't know it until today, really, maybe yesterday. I have been confronting perfectionism. Perfectionism is a soul sucking, joy stealing lie from the pit of hell. Because people who are perfectionists never see perfection. Therefore, they're constantly berating themselves and limiting themselves. I have experienced this in the way that I wrote a children's book when I was 16 years old, and it is painfully, like, I can hardly breathe when I try to take steps to publish it because it's not perfect yet. But the fact of the matter is, look at children's books, okay? They're basic. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be publishable. And I can tell you that my inner critic about that book would never see it publishable. Therefore, my job is just submit it to publishers or publish it myself, but then I have to do all the work of selling it and let them decide. But I've never really been able to release it because it's like I legitimately can't breathe when I try to go through those steps because it's not perfect. I don't deserve it to be published because it's not perfect. I have to get it perfect first. But there is no perfect to a perfectionist. And that has stopped me in my tracks and stolen more from my life than like anything. Perfectionism. Because it's not good enough yet. But I'm so thankful that I have valor because I cannot afford to distract myself or look the other way or focus on new interests when I have a crippling belief that's not only hurting me but hurting her. Because when I'm hard on myself, I'm hard on her. When I don't let myself show up as I am with grace, I don't let her show up as she is with grace. It's suffocating. It destroys our connection. It destroys our joy. And another way I've experienced it is like my voice, okay? I have a very small, limited voice range to where I can sing without my voice cracking. So I don't sing very much. But I've been encouraged to sing and I've been encouraged to develop my voice. And I don't even like to hear my own voice crack. So even when I'm singing to myself, I'm singing safe and small within my range. And so I've been taking the advice of this exquisite mentor of mine. And I've been trying to sing, starting with when nobody else is listening. And what I'm learning is when I raise my voice loud enough to crack and go out of my range and let those cracks be expressed and seen, my voice grows. My voice is growing rapidly and changing rapidly because I am letting myself sound a bit feral. I'm letting my cracks show and I'm singing things that I can't sing. Well, I can sing them. They just can't sing them perfectly, but I'm singing them anyways. And I'm just looking at this and seeing this parallel where my comfort zone was this big, and I stayed inside that comfort zone because I was so afraid to look less than perfect. So I only stayed within what I was perfect at. And what that does is that keeps you from growing beyond this space. Because if I want a better, bigger voice, I have to go into the land of cracking voices. I have to sing the notes that are out of range, that I can't hit, I have to do things that I don't sound in tune. And I have to allow that in order to grow. I have to walk straight into my weaknesses to strengthen them. I have to express and be seen in that way. Not necessarily be seen, but I have to see and accept those things myself before I would ever consider being seen by someone else or heard by someone else. And I was just singing. I went for a walk with Valor. She was on my back in a pack, and I was just singing, and I was belting it out. And as I was singing, as I was cracking, as I was going out of tune, my authentic self showed up. She's a bit feral, and sometimes she's a bit out of tune. But that's her. That's me. And by only showing my perfect parts, I'm only showing a fraction of who I am. And I'm showing you a lie, honestly. And I realize, I really have been, I went a 2-week space of not sharing any videos, not because I had nothing to say, but because I didn't think anything I had to say was perfect enough. I've been really stuck in, no, I haven't been stuck in, I've been confronting perfectionism for the past 2 weeks. I've been just sitting in it, looking it in the eye, and we're asking who's going to move first. And it was painful to get to the point where I chose to move, but I moved. And I'm confronting that perfectionism. And even though, I say those videos, I'm like, well, I don't really like the way that I look, and they're not really professional, and I'm not sure if anything that I have to say is good enough. And, I confronted all those things when I started the video, and I just decided to plow through. And it was so validating. Your response was so beautiful and supportive, and it catalyzed me to go onward. So thank you. The likes and the subscriptions are like, yeah, you can show up. You can be yourself. I like who you are with a crappy camera and, not super planned out words, just authenticity. So every time you do that, you're saying, yes, you can be you. So thank you for saying yes to me. Thank you for seeing me and validating me in my imperfection. So all that to say, I have spent today reconnecting to Valor, because when I am being hard on myself, I'm being hard on her. And it's been really beautiful, and I just have been starting to taste life outside of perfection, which is just real life, because real life isn't perfect. You may perceive others as perfect, but I guarantee you're only seeing a fraction. You're only seeing a tip of the iceberg. It took a while to be brave enough to show up to you guys, no makeup, crappy camera and, selfie cams, but I'm doing it for Valor. I'm doing it for me, because if I want her to accept herself the way she is, without waiting to be perfect, to be great, then I have to do those things. And so here I am, just showing up as I am. And, it brings me back to the truth that I named her Valor, but she made me brave. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for you, Valor. You have given me the courage to face every limiting thought. And so, bottom line, I'm just here to encourage you to let your cracks show. And if somebody sees your cracks and runs, wish them well as they leave. And the people who stay when they see your cracks, pull them closer to you and love them with everything that you've got, because this is real connection. Everything else needs to fall away. Ain't nobody got time for people who only want your perfection. So if you can find those people who love you where you are, and you can begin to love yourself where you are, there's a whole new world outside your comfort zone, outside your perceived perfection zone. So I am taking the plunge and trying to walk in that place and show up in that place, and I'm inviting you to do it with me. And I want to know How has perfectionism slowed you down, and how have you broken through it? What do you do to get comfortable not being so perfect? I love you. Goodbye.